He's physical in the blocking game, and he breaks tackles. I mean, he's just an absolute dynamo, and he's somebody Quan Robinson has to get the ball to tonight.
Yeah, Quan Robinson Jr. over 30 touchdowns, mostly passing, has some rushing ones as well, so that's another key offensive threat. But how about in the running game? Who is Loveland going to have to look out for tonight?
Well, there's two guys, Devon Anderson and now Divine Redding. Redding was a transfer from Mineral Ridge. He missed the first 5 games because he transferred. But now number 20, you see him here, is a bowling ball, 5'11", about 200 pounds. And he is going to be all over the field because they'll play him at fullback in front of Anderson, and they'll also hand him the ball. You know, he was the backup, so to speak, to Devon Anderson, but he's going to Indiana next year. That tells you the type of athletes and talent on the football field Glenville will be putting out there tonight.
Okay, congratulations, Coach Cranford. Your team has made it to the state championship game. Congratulations. Now you have to figure out how to stop the Glenville offense. Coach, how do you do that? I mean, this is a Loveland defense that they feel they're here because of defense. They put up a lot of points offensively, but defense, really, that's the way they feel they got here.
Yeah, and their defense is very good, and Glenville's going to come out and try and run the ball early. That's what they've done every game in the playoffs so far. But when they need to go to their bag of tricks, they like to throw the ball deep. And if you do that, you need some physical corners up there. Number 26, Bo New, 6'3", 180 pounds. If you're going against Marcus Lattimore, the best way to slow him down is to get physical at the line of scrimmage with him. Don't let him get a clean release. Give him good jams. Knock him off his route. Don't let him run clean routes. And also hope you have safety help over the top. But there's other receivers, too, out there. And you better have 2 good cornerbacks. And they have another good cornerback out there, number 1, and Jeff Prifty, 5'10", 170. Not as big as physical as New, but this kid is a ball hawk. He flies to the ball. He's going to be the guy who's going to be hanging around in that zone coverage when they get out of man, and he's the guy who's going to make plays on the ball when it's in the air. And there you see him right there, number 1, 5'10", 175 pounds, and he's just a great athlete out there.
Do you feel that Loveland is ready for the speed? I mean, they say they've faced teams that have speed, but have they faced Glenville speed?
That's a good way of putting it. There's speed, and then there's Glenville speed. And I'm not saying it's not a track meet, so that doesn't matter that much. But there's nobody that Loveland's played who has the speed. And I'm not just talking about the back guys. You have defensive linemen who run 4.6s and 4.7s. So that's the difference they're not ready for. They're not ready for those big linemen who move fast. That's going to be the difference in speed. Not on the outside. Everybody's got fast guys on the outside.
Ryan, quickly, your thought on that.
I agree with him, and it's going to be, especially on defense, the linebacker play. These guys are fast. They fly to the ball. The good thing for Loveland is in the snow, over pursuit is going to be an issue for that Glenville defense. I can't wait. I think Loveland matches up very well.
Okay, we have much more to come here on the pregame show. The keys to the game. Plus, I'm going to ask these guys a question about Glenville you are not going to want to miss. It's coming up after this timeout as we're getting set for Glenville, Loveland, D2 state championship game at Fawcett Stadium. Flashback time as we go back to 2009. Glenville lost to Hilliard-Davidson as Hilliard-Davidson went for 2. Final score 16-15. Glenville comes up short trying to get the Division I state championship. That was back in 09. Dave Chudowski back with you, Coach Bill Powers, Ryan Cavanaugh. Guys, here's the question. Some people out there have put it on Twitter. I just got to ask you, if Glenville wins this state championship, does it mean the same thing? Because they're not in Division I anymore. They're in Division II. They weren't able to do it in 1.
I'd say absolutely it does. A championship is a championship. And unless the rules have changed or they changed something, unless Division I got diamonds in their ring, he's going to get the same ring I got, and he's going to get the same ring everybody else got. So I don't think it's any different at all.
Clinton Massey, St. Vincent, St. Mary. All the teams prior who aren't in Division I, those are all legitimate championships. It's very rare when you get to do anything in your life and play for an opportunity to be called the best. And both Loveland and Glenville have that opportunity right now.
Good point. And they were lower in Division I anyway and still almost won it all and beat big-time teams all these years. So I agree with what you guys are saying. Final thought, keys to victory tonight, guys.
I'm looking at Loveland right here. If Loveland's going to have a chance for this game, they have to control the ball, no turnovers, and the best way to stop Glenville from scoring is keeping their offense on the bench. And Loveland has to keep it close going into the 4th quarter.
Glenville, get off the ball offensively, move the Loveland defense around.
All right, Loveland and Glenville tonight right here on Sports Time Ohio, the Division II state championship. I cannot wait. We'll be back at halftime to look back at the first half. Coming up next, Matt Underwood, Greg Fry with the call for Coach Powers, Ryan Cavanaugh. I'm Dave Chudowski. Enjoy the game, everybody.
freshman Waddell. He's got room to run. Look out. Waddell in the open field. 30, 20, still on his feet. Touchdown. 66 yards. The freshman sensation delivers the game's first touchdown.
In a word, wow. Loveland 34, Glenville 0. It's halftime of the Division II state championship. This is the Wayside halftime report. Wayside Furniture. It's brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Better furniture, priced lower. Dave Chudowski back with you here. This is the Hyundai Studio, downtown Cleveland, Ohio. The Coach Bill Powers, Ryan Kavanaugh. Guys, I don't think maybe we'd be surprised Loveland would be in the lead at halftime. I mean, you don't get to this point without being a great team. But 34-0, Coach, unbelievable.
And I'll tell you what, it goes back to the offense we talked about in the first half. I mean, before the show, the wing tee. The wing tee against aggressive defense is huge. And Glenville, defensive line is going upfield so far. They're running the trap and the fullbacks in the secondary before the defense even knows. You know, I get a text from my two daughters, Anna and Grace. They say, that Luke Waddell looks like he's in sixth grade. I said, no, honey. He's a grown man. He's showing it tonight.
It is. You know, Matt Underwood talked about it, the offensive clinic that Loveland's putting on. No question about it. Ryan, we'll go back to what we talked about before the game, and we talked about the weather. And this is definitely not to make an excuse because Glenville's just not playing well. But I just sit and I watch, and I wonder why they continue to pass in this weather. It's not working going down deep. I don't know why they're not running the ball more. But I got to say, I think the weather is playing a factor with them.
Yeah, I think the first comment I should make about the weather is I was wrong. The weather is affecting Glenville's ability to operate and function as an offense. They have not been able to complete passes downfield. They've resorted to basically running with Divine Redding and throwing jump balls to Marshawn Lattimore. The second comment about the weather is it's not an excuse. There's a lot of reasons why Glenville's losing 34-0. And in the list, the weather's down here, and there's a bunch of people in white jerseys from Loveland that are above that.
At the top is Loveland. Give the due credit, right? Loveland's at the top of that list. And Loveland has to fight the weather, too, and their game plan has been better. And the bottom line is, the final thing I'm going to say before we go to the highlights, Glenville is being beaten in every phase of this game. Let's go to the highlights now, the first half, and see how it's gone down. And one of the reasons, the big reason is the turnovers right there. This is, the cover story of what's going on here.
That's one, and that's Quan Robinson not ready for the snap. Looked like the snap came early, hit him in the face, and Loveland recovers.
Luke Waddell, 66 yards. We wondered if he was Glenville fast. Coach, he's faster than Glenville.
Yes, he is Glenville plus fast.
Wow, 66 yards, 7-0 Loveland, and they're loving it. It's still 7-0, and then they go to the air. In due respect, they're fighting the weather and going to the air and getting it done. Trey Heath, 22-yard touchdown reception, right?
What a pass by Drew Plitt. Honestly, it looks like one team's playing in these elements and the other one isn't. And the team that isn't is up 34-0.
It's a great point. Here's another turnover. What happens here, Coach?
I'll tell you, did a nice job of beating the right tackle around, hitting the quarterback, he fumbles. And I'll tell you what, this is a situation where Loveland's putting their kids in a position to be successful.
Loveland lost the player of the year, right? Yeah. And their running back, and they have these guys now. Gunnar Gamble, 5-yard touchdown to make it 21-0. And oh, man, unbelievable. Quan Robinson Jr. picked off. He was throwing it to you here in the studio, Kavanaugh.
Yeah, well, it might have looked like that. That ball never had a chance, slipped out of his hand. And defensive touchdown. You said all three phases of the game, or at least two of them that have mattered, offense and defense, and there they are putting points up on both sides.
He made us look smart there. That's Bo Nagu, a guy we focused on in pregame, the 6'3" corner. What's he do? Rips it, takes it back to the house.
Well, and think about it, too. And I don't want it to come off that we're being hard on Glenville because they're a great team. Glenville wouldn't be here if it was not a great team. But look at that score, 34-0, and you look at the yards. Waddell, 129 yards, rushing on 12 carries. Gamble, 72 yards. I believe, does that put him over 1,000? He needed somewhere around that area.
Third player for Loveland this year to go over 1,000.
Over 1,000 yards rushing. That says a lot about this program. And I'll tell you what, like I mentioned earlier, Loveland loving it all here at halftime. And here's the bottom line, guys. Let's go now and take a look at the big story of the first half. Let's put weather aside. Let's put aside Loveland's offense. It's the turnovers. You can't have 5 turnovers and win a ball game, can you?
Not against a good football team, and they've got a good football team. That first one was the snap to Robinson. It was a 4th down play. But this one certainly hurt. This set up points. And that was, Coach.
And that one followed a turnover by Loveland, and they gave it right back in the next play.
Yeah, Glenville fumbled Devon Anderson, and then they gave it right back. Or Loveland fumbled, and they gave it right back. Now,
that clearly sets up points because it is points, right?
right, absolutely. Yeah.
Like 6.
That's number 4.
And overall, they had 5 turnovers. They had another pick, right?
Yeah, another interception.
That set up the touchdown from Plitt to Elfers, and that final touchdown made it 34-0. So I think every turnover has led to points, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. I mean, almost everything in this game has led to points for Loveland. Chud, I mean, they're down 34-0. And remember, speaking of turnovers, Loveland on their first drive fumbled at the 1-yard line going in. So as bad as 34-0 looks, it could be worse.
It could be 42, you know, and then you're talking craziness.
Well, that's unbelievable. Yeah, that's right. On the 1-yard line, they fumble, and that could have led to more points. So right now, it's 34-0 Loveland. We'll see if Glenville can get back in this in the second half. That's the thing about sports. At halftime, you still have one more half to go, so maybe they can turn the tables. We'll find out. We have much more to talk about, though, as we take this time out on the Wayside Halftime Report. Coach Ryan and I return right after this timeout from downtown Cleveland, Ohio. But you're looking at Canton Fawcett Stadium, and the conditions, snow. We'll be right back.
Play action. Dump it off. Nice catch by Redding. Picks up a good block from Aaron Smith. Down the sideline and deep into Loveland territory.
And that's one of the few plays that's gone well for Glenville here in the D2 state championship game. This is the Wayside Furniture Halftime Report. Dave Chudowski back with you with the coach Bill Powers, Ryan Kavanaugh. We are in the Hyundai Studios in downtown Cleveland, Ohio. Hey guys, all day long here in Cleveland, I mean, it's starting to snow now, but all day long there's been nothing, and we've been watching it snow in Massillon and in Canton, and clearly the weather playing a factor in these state championships, as we're going to take a look at some video of what these teams have had to go through, and really it has been a winter wonderland out in Canton, and I mean, they've had to take extra time to clear off the field. Our halftime reports have taken longer, and really it changes the game, and it just makes it a lot different as you have to prepare and go out there and play.
Yeah, and a lot of it is what you do to get to this point in time. You're not going to change your game plan at 20 minutes before kickoff because the snow is coming. So you might be, you know, Loveland's game plan, their philosophy of offensive football is wing T, the weather doesn't affect them, where Glenville's does. So you're at a disadvantage, but that's worked for you for 14 weeks, and you're not going to come in game planning for snow. So you're really put you in a jam on that one.
I'll tell you, Ryan, you talked a lot about Waddell in the pregame show, and that's really hitting right now. The fact that they have a sophomore quarterback and a freshman running back says a lot about this program, that they're able to get it done right now. But let's take a look at Waddell and what he's been able to do, and we talked about it in the last segment. We knew he had speed coming in. This guy is quick, man.
Chud, he's a rock star. I mean, he's a freshman. He's probably 14 years old, and look at him. He's mature running the football. He's patient, which so many high school running backs don't figure out. He waits for his blocks to set up, and we've seen him with that game-breaking speed. Look at how slow he's, and now watch the burst, boom. As soon as he gets a block, he moves up, and he can take a hit. I mean, Marshawn Lattimore, you know, came with a brick and hit him, and Waddell jumps up and runs back to the huddle and says, give me the ball again.
Coach, is it more about what Waddell's doing, or is it a combination, too, of what Glenville's defense has not been able to do?
Well, you know, you got to get those guys up front. You're seeing 2 guys pulling each time, kicking out, leading through. I mean, there's a gap there a few times that, you know, I could probably sashay through at about 45 years old and 80 pounds overweight. I could still make it through that hole. But he's got that burst. Like you said, the perfect word to use is patience. He lets his block get set up, and then bam, he takes off when it's time to take off.
Okay, so that's Loveland. I mean, clearly Loveland is capitalizing on the turnovers. 5 turnovers, all leading to points. And Loveland is playing masterful defense and offense, clearly. But when we look at Glenville and what Glenville is not doing, Ryan, I'm sitting there in the first half, and I just keep asking you guys, why are they going deep so much when it's not working? And then I'm like, well, maybe they're trying to open up the running game, but interceptions, underthrown balls, you know, we take a look at Quan Robinson Jr. I'm not laying it on him. I'm just wondering why so much, or why are they doing it so much?
Well, part of it is dance with the girl you brought. I mean, this is their offensive game plan, is throw it deep to your stud Marshawn Lattimore. Here you see Quan Robinson. Part of the problem is, you know, snaps and having defensive pressure, but you have to be able to adjust and realize not only are they double covering Lattimore at times, but it's more difficult for Quan Robinson to put it out there.
You mentioned